All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our tarot Christmas party live stream today. My name is Kate. I'm also known as the Daily Tarot Girl, and I'm joined by Will from the Atypical Tarot YouTube channel. And I am so happy to be here with you, Will, doing tarot readings for people.
Yeah, it's always fun. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Sky Tarots is here. Hello, Sky Tarots. So I thought, we've done lots of live streams together where we, we'll read for people. We take turns doing readings. I was wondering if you want to start off this live stream by maybe just pulling a card or two for the new year and seeing if we can, maybe make some, not necessarily predictions, but just kind of like peek into the future of 2025 and see what kinds of things it might bring. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that sounds really good. Someone said there seems to be an echo. I hope there is not something going on here.
Oh, there seems to be an echo. Is it me echoing? I'm assuming it is because I'm the one talking.
I don't know. They didn't say. Maybe someone can let
Lois.
us know if it sounds okay.
Yeah, Lois, let us know if there's still an echo. Okay, let me just check my settings here. Might have hit something by accident.
Someone said they don't hear an echo. Maybe it was just something. Maybe it was just something initially.
I think it was just Lois. Okay, everyone says it sounds okay. Okay, good. Okay, I'm in a bigger room. I'm in my living room today. Normally, when I do live stream, I do it in my little office, and maybe the acoustics sound a little bit different. I don't know.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that sounds great to do a prediction for kind of the year ahead since it's coming to a close this year. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Did we do that last year? I think we did, right?
I think we did. Yeah. What deck are you using today?
I was deciding between the Sacred She Tarot.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's a cool deck. I don't have it, but
and
the Sacred She. Actually, I don't know that deck. Sorry, I thought it was the there's another tarot called the She Tarot.
Oh yeah, I know that one too. I don't have that one either. Okay. But this one is by the same creator of the Osho Zen Tarot. This is her third deck. So her name's Ma Deva. I think it's Deva Padma. I don't know how to pronounce it, but something
I love her stuff. She's a beautiful artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I also have Tarot of the Holy Spectrum, which maybe I'll use here and there. We'll see.
Nice. Okay.
And you?
Okay, so I'm gonna use I've got two decks. So I've got the Slavic Legends Tarot, which I'm excited to use. There's something about this deck that to me, it's not necessarily Christmassy, but it's like a wintry kind of deck. I feel like it just feels like it's a good deck to use in the wintertime. And then I also have my favorite deck. I'm really loving this deck. It's the Cosmic Wisdom Tarot by Ethany Dawn and James Fenner. And I really like this deck. So I'm probably going to kind of go back and forth between the two.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got the Cosmic Wisdom deck not too long ago, and I like that one a lot too. Really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice deck. Okay, so I just want to say hi to some of the people that have arrived here. Welcome, Jessica, Ali, Alicia, Dina, Elle, New Life Steve. Hi, Steve. Purple Dolliya Psychic. Sandy. Hello, Lois. All right. So let's start by shuffling our cards, and let's each draw one card to start for 2025 and see what kind of energy is coming up.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Okay. All right. I feel like 2025 is going to have lots of like surprises for us.
It seems that way, definitely.
That's what the energy feels like right now. Oh, the moon. Okay.
There you go.
So the moon, I wouldn't necessarily, I would say I wouldn't necessarily associate with like surprises, but the moon is about what is hidden. And it's telling us that not everything has been revealed yet. So it's this like very mysterious card. And so it's a very mysterious card. And I'm just going to have a look at it. So my intention with this card when I was shuffling, I was thinking, okay, what is one card that really represents the overall general energy of 2025 coming up? What's the upcoming energy? And here we have the moon. Now with the moon, it's telling us that not everything is going to be revealed this year. There's a lot of things that are still hidden. There's a lot of things that are still kind of will be in the shadows as we move through 2025. And some of this will be personal to us. So we may experience this on like a very personal level. And some of us, it will be experiencing this on a more collective kind of level. And the moon is also about subconscious energies of the collective and how these subconscious energies are often kind of repressed and they pop up from time to time. And so I think that we will be seeing a lot of that as we move through the next year, is some of these subconscious energies kind of coming to the surface for better or worse. I also think that the moon is about, as much as it's a mysterious card, and as much as I say the moon often asks us to simply accept the mysterious and accept that, there's always going to be certain things that are hidden. Not everything is going to be revealed all the time. It's also about kind of shining a light on things, peeling back the layers, bringing things to the surface. Now, in the Rider-Waite deck, that's not visible in this deck, but in the Rider-Waite deck, we see there's water and there's this like lobstery, crayfishy kind of creature emerging from the primordial water. So there's this like emerging, this bubbling up, which is kind of to me a symbol of like things coming up from the collective unconscious. So I don't know if that reading was clear as mud. I don't know, but I'm kind of excited and also kind of a sense of dread and excitement about seeing the moon as the general card for 2025.
Yeah, I like that card for 2025. I think that I wish that a lot of things would be revealed, but I understand that not everything can be revealed. Were you thinking more like things being revealed on a spiritual level, or more just hidden things that are maybe just kept from the public?
Both things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. I know that I get a little frustrated with, I guess, all of the disclosure. Every time we hear about disclosure and things coming to light about like our government or different things that are happening in the world, it's almost like they just have this little carrot and a stick. Like they're like, okay, we can't tell you this. And it's always very frustrating. And I think people are getting a little tired of not knowing a lot of the details, but that's the way it is, huh?
Right.
You're right.
Well, so what I got with the moon is that the sense I got with it is that things will be slowly revealed. Like think about it being nighttime, but there's a moon. So you can see some shapes and see some things, but you can't see everything clearly. But it's not going to be nighttime forever. Daytime comes, but it comes slowly. And as the sun starts to rise, things start to be made more clearly. But where we are right now is here. This is where we are. So it's not that things are going to be hidden forever, or that we'll always be in this state of being confused and not having the full picture. It's just that this is where it is right now. And things are gradually being kind of revealed. It's kind of what I get with the moon.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because I think people are so hungry for the truth. I mean, I know I am.
Yeah. And as you were talking, I was remembering there's all that weird drone stuff or UFO stuff going on right now in the news. That seems to be a big thing.
Yeah, like what is that? And you can tell it's so deceptive because on the one hand, it's like, oh, you're safe, but we don't know what it is. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well then how do you know? So
Exactly.
it's so weird, yeah. But I'm just tired of being like lied to, and it's just frustrating. But let's see what I get here. I got
Yeah.
I got the Hermit.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Nice. And that, you know
Which I
what, the Hermit, sorry to cut you off.
oh, go
The
ahead. No,
Hermit,
no.
2025, if you add up all those numbers, it adds up to number 9, which is the Hermit.
Oh, yeah, it sure does, huh? Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think this is a good card for that, going into that inward world to really get answers because like we were talking about how things aren't revealed, I think it's really up to us to try to seek that stuff within too. Use our intuition, use our inner guidance and the things that maybe aren't just so public or media driven and making those contacts and things with our inner world and our subconscious that way. Like you were talking about things coming up from the subconscious. And I think making that connection to that whole world, that whole inner world can really give some answers, even though they may not be answers that validate things on the physical world and from the government or from institutions or corporations. But I think we can learn a lot just by trusting our own intuition and just relying on that more than the things that are more logic based because I go back and forth with the whole logic thing. Like sometimes my logical side is very strong and I want to see concrete evidence of stuff, and then other times I like to go into that more mysterious world where things maybe aren't so devoid of my imagination. They're
Mhm.
more on that realm in that realm of this is more personal to me, but
Mhm.
it still gives me answers that I'm okay with on the personal level. Because I think knowing for yourself, really, and having your own inner experience is
Mhm.
probably one of the most important things anyway, because no one can really tell you. Like, how are you going to really know the truth if it's coming from something else? There's always deception, there's always the what ifs. So, really, you just have to have your own experiences. And I think having that experience of your inner world is somewhere that we all might benefit from going forward to really, even if we do get answers externally, to take those things inward and test them and see, okay, does this fit with my divine self? How do I feel about this with the true part of me? How does this fit with my true will, my true fate and destiny and determination that I feel is right for me and what's on my path? How does it fit with that? Because we could be deceived on, there's so many ways to deceive us now with AI and all these other things out there. It's hard to know what the truth is, even when it might be supposedly revealed, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's interesting that I got the Moon, you got the Hermit. Someone in the comments said the Moon and Hermit are numerological pairs. So cool that you pulled them both. And I think that they're both internal cards. Like often when the Moon comes up in readings for people, I'll say, pay
Mhm.
attention to your dreams and like your inner world. And I say the same thing with the Hermit. They're very different cards that mean different things, but they're both
Mhm.
internally focused cards.
I agree because the moon, it kind of reminds me a lot of the high priestess, which is more internal as well. And so
Yeah.
you do have that kind of, um, I guess, those three parts, the moon, the hermit, and the high priestess do have a similar message, I think. So that is interesting that they came up together.
Can I see the card that you pulled?
Yep,
The
sure.
the Solitude. Oh yeah, yeah. And it's got the two sides, which make me think of the High Priestess actually with the two pillars.
Mm, that's
And
true.
even the moon in the Rider Waite version anyhow has the two towers in the background, which is interesting.
And he's
Okay.
also going up a pathway too, which is part of the moon card.
Mhm.
There's this pathway it's almost like these are
Cool,
doors
cool.
in a
Yeah, yeah.
pathway. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so how do you feel about pulling some cards for people?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
That,
Okay, I'm just going to shuffle my deck. So for those of you watching, And there's 31 people here. Yay. Okay, so for those of you watching, if you would like us to pull you a card, how we usually do it is you either ask a question or you just say in the comments that you want us to pull a card for you. And I think, how were we doing it last time, Will? Did we each pull a card for the same person, or were we switching off doing different people? I can't remember.
We each pulled the card for the same person.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And then we just took turns going first.
Okay. Okay. So if anyone watching wants us to pull you a card, or if you have like a specific question for us, just type it in the chat and we'll pull a card for you. Okay, so let's do Netty P. Netty P, I recognize your name. I know that you've been to some of our lives before. I think I recognize your name. So you would like a card. Okay. So do you want to start, Will, or do you want me to start?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. You want me
so
to
just
start?
a general card. Let's see.
Okay.
All right. And we got the Empress. And this card, it says Mother Nature. So I think that this card is just, it kind of reminds me to connect with nature, to remember to incorporate that into my just daily life somehow. Like the other day, I went out on the balcony and I did my meditation out there versus just being in the house. And I did feel a difference. And I think sometimes we just get so busy with the things that are done indoors that sometimes just going out and doing our spiritual practice outside kind of gets put off. I think it can be a little bit more, there can be a little bit more preparation involved, because depending on the weather or depending on things you need to take with you or to kind of prepare for that and think about that, it really can be something that you have to put some forethought into. And I think that this card just makes me think of like, what can I do to kind of make sure that I have things prepared so that I'm ready to go and do that. So I'm not just walking, because the other day when I did that, I had to go and like, I went outside. I was like, I forgot to get a crystal. I forgot to get, the incense or the lighter or whatever, so I kept going back and forth. So it took me a little while. It kind of wasted a bit of time. But once I was able to actually do it, I appreciated taking that time to do that. So I think that's something to think about, because now that I have a break, because when I'm working, it's just everything's going fast paced and I don't really have things set up to go outside on the balcony and do that meditation. So I end up doing it like at my desk at work, which isn't the optimal place. And so it just feels like there's something missing when I do it that way. And so the experience just really grounds me more. It just feels like I get more out of it when I just take that time. And so when I got this card for you, Netty, it just feels like just a kind of reminder to, if you are doing a part of your meditation, your spiritual practice outdoors, to continue to do that and to also make more preparation for it, to put things in place and maybe have it a little bit more streamlined. That's kind of what I feel by that. So just kind of nurture that practice in a way with nature, balancing those things out.
That's nice. I like that interpretation of, and that was the Empress, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull a card for you, Netty. Ooh, the World. Okay. So you got 2 major arcana cards. That's pretty cool. Okay. So here's the World. Lots going on with this card. So I'm just going to start with some of the symbols that are jumping out at me. The snake, the red snake that's under the ground, and I'm just noticing like the roots of the tree that are going down into the ground, and then the roots of the tree that are going up into the sky. And it makes me think, and if you look at the roots that are going down into the ground, there's actually some skulls. There's earth, there's the snake. So it's very earthy. There's some death symbols there about, and the snake is a symbol of rebirth. So there's that going on. And then we have the branches of the trees, and up in the branches of the trees, there's an angel and an eagle. And it makes me think of this meditation that I always do. It's a meditation I'll do like before giving someone a tarot reading, where I close my eyes, I breathe, I kind of get centered. And in order to ground my energy, I imagine myself being a tree and sending roots into the ground and then sending roots up into the sky, kind of opening my crown chakra, opening up to kind of psychic, intuitive ability, but also like grounding down into the physical at the same time. And it's a really powerful practice to be able to ground yourself physically in the here and the now in the physical world, but also open yourself up to higher connections, higher energies, higher guidance, and bringing that higher guidance down into the day-to-day life, into your physical existence. So that's not necessarily the sort of traditional interpretation of the world, but that's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. So I feel like that's one message for you. That's one thing that is a worthy thing for you to focus on as you move through this next year or so, is remembering to ground your energy, because the more grounded you are, the more rooted, the more centered you are, the higher you're able to go energetically. So the more you can open up to that higher guidance and that higher kind of connection. Now, the world, to me, the world can be about integration. It can be about like integrating all different parts of the self. It's a card of wholeness. It's the last major arcana card. So we start with, you talk about the Fool's journey. We start with the Fool, which is the beginning, and then we go through all the majors, and then we get to the end, which is the World. So it's this card of kind of almost accomplishment, completion of some sort, integration. So there's those themes as well, and being able to, you may find yourself completing certain tasks, goals, certain journeys, mini journeys that you've been going on, kind of completing that. And then 2025 for you might be a year where you're integrating all that stuff that you learned, all that stuff that you figured out, all the different experiences and challenges you had, kind of integrating that into the self, grounding it down so that you can expand outward. Ultimately, I think the world is a card of expansion. It's a card of being able to use your life experiences in a way that helps you expand yourself as opposed to contract. So really exciting card of expansion to get, Netty. So thanks for letting us read for you.
Yeah, I like that idea of having roots going up too. That's a cool visual.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I'm just gonna read a few comments.
Okay.
Artsy girl Marilyn, you said, I walk to my healing tree to balance my chakras and heal the tree, which has tangled power lines. Sometimes the roots are covered with pine cones, and my tree offers me one person turquoise wizard wand. Huh, cool. Okay, so I think I picked the last person. So do you want to pick the next person and I'll pull a card?
Let's see, let me go up a little bit here. Jessica Murphy said, can you pull a card for me? Pisces with Cancer, rising, moon, and Libra. So she gave us her astrological sign. So yeah.
Okay.
Jessica Murphy. Is there a way you can you still click on the
Oh yeah, I totally forgot to do that for the last one. Okay. So who is it that you want me
to?
So
it's right below Netty. I just went for the next one.
Oh, for the next one. Okay. Okay, hold on. Oh, Jessica Murphy. Okay. All right. Could you pull a card for me? And you're a Pisces with Cancer, rising, moon, and Libra. My moon is also in Libra. Okay. All right, Jessica. So the card that I have for you is the Fool. Okay, this is cool because the last card was the World, and now we're back to the start with the Fool. All right. Okay, so the Fool ultimately is a really powerful card, Jessica, of new beginnings and kind of a fresh start. So wherever you are in your life right now, there is this kind of energy of new beginnings kind of bubbling up for you. This might be in a really big way. It might be in a small way. It might be in a subtle way. But there is this potential for you to kind of to take that first step or first couple of steps on a new path in a new direction. Now, there's a feeling, there's a sense of discovery. So as I look at the Fool, I see the figure here. He's sees this flower, and he's kind of like just discovering this flower. But we see the roots of the tree are unrooted. So what I get from this is that in order for you to make a fresh start, in order for you to go down a new path or to try anything new, it's going to require you to unground yourself a little bit. It's going to require a certain amount of uprooting. And that takes trust. And the Fool is all about optimism and trust, and trusting that even if you take a risk here and there, even if you do something that's maybe outside of your normal bounds of convention, even when you do that, even when you kind of uproot yourself, having that trust that everything is going to work out in the way that it needs to. It might not work out in the way you originally plan or hope, but that eventually things will work out. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting with the Fool. Really exciting card to get, and it really shows that you've got a lot of potential for a fresh start and new beginnings on the horizon.
Okay, and then I got the 10 of Pentacles, which I think is a good card too, because the 10 is the last. It's like a card of completion as well. So that would fit with that whole idea of new beginning and having a fresh start. So maybe you've reached a point where something's ended, and then now you're looking forward to something else. And like you said before, with the Fool taking that risk or taking those steps, I think that also applies here, because if you're going into something new, of course there could be challenges or things to worry about. But like Kate was saying, having the confidence that everything will be okay and that you'll reach those goals and that things will work out is a part of it as well. So I think this helps me understand that there is this sort of confidence that you can have about whatever decision you're going to take, because the bottom of the card says privilege. So to my mind, that brings up that you're in a category, or you're in a position where things will work out. There's this sort of preference for whatever your goals are or whatever your ambitions are, that now might be the time to really be confident about those things. And the 10 of Pentacles in general is a card of accomplishment and success and reaching those goals. So yeah, but also to remember that those things are not necessarily as valuable as those spiritual goals or those inward goals that really do build our character and build our experience here on the planet as well. So maybe these might be some physical, because this is a pentacle, so maybe this might be some physical accomplishments here on earth, but also to remember to balance those things out with the spiritual side as well. So yeah, I think those two cards kind of play well together with the idea of completing a cycle and having the confidence to go for something new to add to that.
I like what you said. Well, I'm just getting over a cold, and so I don't know if you've noticed, I've been coughing. I've been hacking and coughing this whole time, but I keep muting my microphone. So like,
oh no, I didn't notice it.
Okay, good.
I hope you feel better soon. I had one not too long ago. It was just, oh man, it seemed like it wouldn't go away.
Yeah, that's what mine feels like, and I don't feel that bad anymore. Like the bulk of it was last week, but I'm still like so tired and really mucusy and coffee and stuff. So if you see me like go off camera, it's because I'm blowing my nose.
No problem.
Okay, I'll pick the next person, and
Okay.
you could do a reading. Okay. Okay, I'm actually just gonna scroll to the bottom. I'm gonna go. I know you like to do things in order.
No, we
But
could. No, I think one time we were doing. I would take the ones on top, and then you would go to the ones in the bottom, or something like that, just to kind of balance it out.
I like to make it as chaotic and confusing as possible.
No.
Okay, let's do. Just scrolling up to see if who wants a reading. Let's see here. Okay, let's do Lindsay. And Lindsay just says 2025 career.
All right. So we got the Eight of Swords.
Okay.
And I think that, this is a card about maybe having those limitations that we place on ourselves sometimes and to look beyond that. So when it comes to career, don't set a boundary for yourself, really push yourself and have the mindset that, yes, maybe this job might be something that I could do, that I'll settle for. There might be something else. So don't just go for the first thing in terms of career. Shoot for the things that you really are passionate about and the things that really are standing out, because there may be more than one opportunity. And if there is, then push yourself a little bit, I think, because confidence is the key here, just like with the other card that we pulled. So this card kind of has this big barrier in the front. You can see that the person is just kind of almost like they have prison stripes as well. And they just seem to be limited and stuck. But I know on the traditional RWS card, the person really can get out of that situation pretty easily. And they seem to be really limiting themselves. So sometimes that happens because of past traumas, experiences that we've had before, and maybe they make us feel like, well, we're not capable. But I think with this card, it's like, okay, well, when you think you've reached a point where this is the job or the career that's best for you, keep going, and there's always room for advancement, room for growth, and new opportunities that can come. So I think the ball's in your court when it comes to 2025 in your career. So you'll have the advantage. I think that's definitely a good thing for 2025, because a lot of people are not really in that situation. It's kind of the opposite, where there's not a lot of jobs or opportunities. So as those opportunities open up, don't feel like you have to settle for something that you're not happy with.
Okay.
And don't feel obligated. Like if you take a job, don't feel obligated just because that particular company is like, oh, okay, well, we really need you. And, we really want you to stay here and focus on the things that we have, our goals and our plans. But it's about your plans and your goals for 2025. So don't feel like you owe these corporations or companies or whatever you're planning on doing for your career. You feel like you owe it anything. You can do what you like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see. Lindsay, I'm going to draw a card for you. The Devil. All right. So actually kind of similar imagery to the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords for Will's card showed like bars. Where here we've got chains. These people are chained up. So what's interesting with the Devil appears in a reading to remind you of your power and to say like you're coming up to a point, and this kind of goes with what I said about the first card I drew for the year ahead, which was the moon. And I said that these kind of subconscious energies are going to be kind of bubbling to the surface. And for you, what that might look like is this desire for more freedom, more sovereignty, more control may start to kind of bubble up for you in relation to your career. So you may find yourself getting frustrated at the various ways that you feel kind of limited and stuck, and you're wanting to maybe branch out, go in a different direction, or just make your career more your own and bring more of your personality, your authenticity to the work that you do. Now, the thing with the Devil, so I definitely feel like career Something you may experience in 2025 career-wise is you may feel like you start butting up against things in your career. Like you may feel like you want to grow and expand or go in a particular direction, and there's someone or something that's blocking your way. However, that doesn't mean that you won't expand in your career, that you won't achieve things. It just means that there may be lots of obstacles, and it may feel like 2025, there's lots of hurdles and lots of things that you're kind of working through, working around. So it isn't necessarily a bad thing, although objectively it looks like, oh, that's frustrating, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. And it also requires a little bit of a shift in mindset in terms of questioning authority, in terms of questioning, because I think we all sometimes have this idea in our heads that things are a certain way and this is the way it is. Or we believe that we only have a certain amount of power and influence in a particular area, or we believe that only certain things are possible for us and other things aren't. We have an idea of who we are and what we're capable of, what we're not capable of. The devil is asking you to stop giving so much of your power to some of those beliefs. And you may start to question your own thoughts around what you're capable of, what's possible, especially when it comes to obstacles and blocks in your career. When you come up against those, knowing that where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting from the devil. I feel like we got similar kind of cards there, Will.
I think so. I think that's a pretty clear message there. Thank you. Let's see.
Do you Will, do you want to just for a little bit, do you want to like just take turns reading for different people? Like you read for someone, I'll read for a different person. That way we'll be able to like give more people readings.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm going to go blow my nose and I'm going to go change my shirt because I'm dying. This shirt is like not breathable and I'm just like melting. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to let you choose the next person to do the reading.
All right.
Okay.
Did we do some of these? I'm forgetting now that we didn't do Lori. Did we do Lori? Lori Murphy?
Which Lori Murphy? No, we haven't done Lori Murphy yet.
Okay. All right. We'll do that one. I'll do that one. I'll just go ahead and start it.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So Lori would like a card about 2025, what that looks like. And let's see what we get here. And we got the 10 of Wands. So there could be a lot of things on your plate. So the 10 of Wands traditionally is about maybe being burdened with things or just having a lot of responsibility and trying to carry all of that responsibility. And one way to combat that, of course, is to work with other people, to collaborate, to bring new ideas, to maybe streamline your process and organize things in a certain way. So I would say for the beginning of 2025, maybe make sure that things are organized and that everything is in place so that you can be efficient. So efficiency, of course, is one way to just combat things being a burden or things feeling like they're just too much. Because on the 10 of Wands, the person's by themselves. They're just barely able to carry all the wands. And in this case, it's a huge boulder that they're carrying. And those things can weigh you down and just kind of zap your energy. And it just becomes kind of a snowball effect from there. And again, to prevent that, I think just having things in place and kind of anticipating some of the things might come up might be a good idea. Another thing is saying no. It's hard to say no sometimes to things that people ask of us, and maybe we can't take on more, but we feel bad about not doing things. But sometimes it's just best for our mental health, it's best for our physical health to just take a step back and say, I just can't take on any more responsibility, and just explain it. Just say, look, these things are going on, and I would really like to help, but I can't. And then also looking at what kind of things you might be able to remove or declutter or get rid of that might be adding some weight to your life right now. So yeah, so like the Ten of Wands it's not a bad card. It's just one of those cards where you have to maybe prepare and to set things up in a way that you don't end up with more things thrown on that pile of things that you have to do. So you can always remove things from the pile. You can always drop things from the stack of wands that you're carrying and responsibilities that you have. But learning to say no and to set boundaries and to be firm with those boundaries can be really effective at just loosening that burden. So yeah, 2025 might be a little bit busy, but you can handle it. Absolutely. And then being busy isn't a bad thing. Sometimes being busy adds to different opportunities. So look for those opportunities that would be best at that time. So there's always options there.
Okay, that was for Lori Murphy, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I will pull a card for okay. Bia, thank you. I'm glad you like my silk robe. Yeah, I needed something cool and airy. Judy, okay. I would love a reading for the new year. Okay, so Judy, I'm gonna shuffle my Slavic Legends tarot, and I'm gonna pull you a card. Okay. So a reading for the year ahead for 2025. I can't believe it's gonna be 2025. That's so crazy. Okay, Judy. 4 of Cups. All right. 4 of Cups. Okay, so one thing that might come up for you this year is feeling a little bit bored. The 4 of Cups to me is a card of boredom and feeling like you're waiting for something. It's like you're waiting for a spark. You're waiting to feel inspired. You're waiting for something that just hits right and resonates. You're waiting for that thing. And you may feel like some of the things that come your way or get offered to you are just not doing it for you in 2025. And so 2025 may be a year where you are really focused on finding your spark and reigniting that spark. And here's the thing that I get with this card is that if you're looking outward for that spark, you're like waiting for someone to come into your life or a certain opportunity or something. If you're looking outside of yourself to find that spark, you may be disappointed. You might be waiting a really long time. It's really, and this is interesting because both Will and I, when we pulled at the beginning, when we pulled a card for 2025, I got the Moon. Will, you got the Hermit. Both of those cards were internally focused cards, which told me that 2025 is a year where we may not find the answers outside of ourselves. We may not find our spark or excitement or whatever outside of ourselves. We may have to go inward to find those things. And that's what I'm getting for you with the 4 of Cups is that you will really feel this like craving or yearning to find that spark this year, but don't make the mistake of spending too much energy looking outside of yourself to find that spark. This is really a very like internal, it's encouraging you to journey inward. And I wouldn't normally say that about the 4 of Cups because I don't necessarily, that's not like the traditional interpretation of the 4 of Cups really. But that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting from it is that, yeah, you may be required to do some like inward journeying in order to find that spark and that inspiration this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense because, the 4 of Cups, it's the person's just sitting there and they're not really interested in the external things around them. They're more with themselves and going inward too. So it does match that hermit and moon type of energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. How about Jessica? I think it's Leviton. It's like around 12:24 p.m.
Okay.
Potential move to Mexico.
Okay. Got it.
All right. So Jessica would love a card reading about a potential move to Mexico. And so let's see what we get here. And so we got, so this is what, 11, this is justice. I don't know if this is going to be something permanent. So maybe this is kind of pushing me to ask another question. Is this like a move that where you're going to be able to travel back and forth there easily? Because if you move and you are limited in having access to come back to where you're originally at right now, or to where your family is, or maybe to where like your support system and structure is, then I think that balance could be a problem. Because, you know, if we move to somewhere new and we kind of have those longings for home, or we have those desires to be around things that are familiar to us, sometimes that can cause a bit of anxiety and stress, because we kind of need those things sometimes. Not everyone does, but in some cases, we may not anticipate how impactful that can be to not really have that. And so with the justice card coming up here being about balance, and you have these complete opposite type things, and there's this boundary, it kind of makes me feel like that needs to be an option. So maybe really consider, are you okay with that? Are you okay with totally leaving things, or do you have that option available to easily go back and forth? Because if you have the option to go easily back and forth and it's no problem, it really wouldn't really be a major issue. But I think that's the thing to consider is, are you okay with that? And if so, then it sounds like, yeah, a good idea to make the move. But if not, then that might be something that really could challenge your decision to make that move.
Okay. I'm always curious how other people read the justice card, because that's one card I always struggle with. And whenever it comes up, I'm always like, I don't know what it means. I don't know where to go every time. So when you got justice, I was like, ooh, what's he going to say about this? So I enjoyed reading how you read that card.
Yeah, typically, like, I don't think of it in terms of balance. The bottom of this card actually said balance, so that kind of took me on down that pathway. But I also see it as truth and just being honest as well, truth and honesty. But I don't really, balance kind of applied more, I guess, with this.
Okay. I'm gonna read for Steve, who has a question about his travel blog. So Steve, you said, okay, where were you? Okay. New Life Steve. Just wondering if I should continue with my travel blog in 2025, as I'm finding it hard going at the moment and feel like giving up. And I think you said in a previous comment that your blog wasn't getting a lot of traction, I think. So you're wondering if you should keep doing it. Okay, let's draw a card for you. All right, what card does Steve need to see about his travel blog? Oh, 10 of Cups. All right. Okay, so I'll just let you have a look at this card. So 10 of Cups. And 10 of Cups is actually, to me, this is a very happy, jovial kind of card. This is the card of like dreams coming true. There's a warm, fuzzy feeling with the 10 of Cups. There's a certain glow of peacefulness, sentimentality, connection. But the 10 of Cups ultimately is a card of emotional fulfillment. And it's asking you, what is it that brings you a sense of emotional fulfillment and satisfaction? And does this travel blog, and I know that, it's frustrating when you're working on a project and it seems like no one's listening or no one's paying attention. It can make you question, why am I doing this? So asking yourself, like, does writing for your travel blog, does it give you any sense of emotional fulfillment? Is it an emotionally fulfilling experience to write about your traveling? And if not, is there something that you could change about that blog that would make it more emotionally fulfilling? Like maybe you don't have to write as often, or writing in a different way, or writing about different things, or making it more of a theme or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like, this is a question I ask myself with my own blog. If I'm feeling uninspired when I'm making videos or creating content, it's like, well, what can I change? Is there something different I could do? Is there just something I could tweak a little bit? Why do I not feel like this is fulfilling? What could I change to make it more fun, make it more fulfilling? So that's the first thing. But then the 10 of Cups also asks you to ask yourself, what in a general sense makes you feel emotionally fulfilled? What helps you connect? Because ultimately the 10 of Cups is not just about emotional fulfillment. It's a card of connection. It shows a family here and they're having a nice time, but it's really about that sense of like connecting with others. And that might be the reason that you started this travel blog in the first place, is you're like, this is how I can connect with others. And so with the 10 of Cups, it asks you, what kinds of things help you feel emotionally fulfilled in your life? What helps you connect with others? Because it does feel like ultimately that's what you're craving deep down, is this sense of connection with, and a sense of almost bonding with others. Yeah. So, and I'm just trying to think I know I didn't really answer your question, which was, should I continue my travel blog in 2025? You're finding it hard going and you feel like giving up. And I think that part of that is because maybe you started this travel blog with the idea of this being a way for you to connect with others, to connect with yourself, and something that would be fun. And instead, it might feel like no one's reading it and it's just not, the process isn't what you originally intended. So it's okay to take a little bit of a break if you need to. But 10 of Cups is asking you to get clear on, what is it about this blog that is that's not emotionally fulfilling for you, and what kinds of things are emotionally fulfilling, and making that the priority is emotional fulfillment, connection with others, and see where that takes you. Now, that might mean you take a break from your blog for a while and get back to it. It might mean that you just shelve it for now, do other things, or it might mean that you just change how you're doing it, changing the frequency or changing how you write. I don't know. But that's what I'm getting from this card. Thank you so much for your question, Steve. And I'm curious to hear how it goes for you as you get into 2025.
It's a really cool card. That's it's interesting about the whole connection and starting something because you feel like there'll be a connection there with other people. And I think that if it's just not doing that, then yeah, that can be frustrating because you're wondering, is anybody even really interested? And am I wasting my time? And yeah, it could make you really definitely want to give up. But
what was it like for you? What was it like for you, Will, when you started your YouTube channel? Did you have traction right away, or did it take you a while?
No, it actually wasn't until I started connecting with other people that it actually started to grow more. And so definitely those connections do help, right? They do help spread the word. They do help kind of just speed up the process. So yeah, I wish there was some way, I don't know a lot about the blog that he has, but if there was some way that he could add something to that blog to get more eyes on it. I mean, I can only think of maybe starting a YouTube channel or an Instagram to funnel people towards it. But just on its own, it's really hard to get more people to be aware of it. And also to even interact with the people that are seeing it is more difficult with a blog because they do have little comment sections, but there's not a whole lot of interaction and connection that way to build community.
And
so
I should say,
people
Steve,
might read it and go away.
If you want to share your travel blog in the comments, feel free. We'll check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be cool. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. I'm still towards the top, but I'm gonna scroll down to see if I can get one that's a little bit longer. Um, and then I'll come back to some of the other ones that just want a card pulled. Mm. Let's see. Okay, no, I don't really see a really long type of question. So I'll just go ahead and go back up here towards the top.
I know the hardest part of this is picking a question.
It is, right. I don't want to waste a bunch of time trying to scroll through. So let me just go ahead and just go with it. So I think it says Reeta Krishna. It's hard for me to see. It's
What time is it?
12:24 again. And
Okay.
it's 2 after the last one I did.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, so let's see what we get for Reeta. So I got the 8 of Pentacles. And so this is called Labor of Love on this deck. There's a person painting a mural. And really, to me, this is about doing something that you're passionate about, and just something that you do just because you love it. And you're willing to put the work into it because it's exciting to you. It inspires you. It just kind of facilitates your creative side, because you really like doing whatever this is. And maybe you've forgotten about this thing in the past, or you haven't been able to get back into whatever it is that you're doing. It could be a hobby, it could be your career. But to get back into that, get that spark going for whatever that is, whatever you were passionate about before, because a lot of those things are really worth it, and things can come from that. And you can build from those things that maybe we feel aren't really, I don't know, maybe it might not be something, maybe it might be a hobby and not something that's really um, a career possibility from your perspective, but maybe from your guide's perspective or from your internal self's perspective, it could be something that could take off and be fulfilling. So don't give up on that if you are thinking about not doing, that. And this would have been a good card for the previous reading. Weird, but I think, I think, but I don't really know what the details of this one. But maybe they had like a similar thing going on where there's something that they're not really sure they want to continue. But if they're passionate about it and they love doing it, just go ahead and do it as a labor of love, and something that is kind of a thing that you do for yourself, and that is really, you get excitement and joy out of it just because you enjoy doing it. There's things like that I do, that are just sort of things that I enjoy doing. And someone may ask me, oh, well, that seems like a lot of work. Like, that was a lot of work for whatever you just did. And I'm like, well, I enjoyed that process so much. Like, I drew that because I like taking the time to draw it, or I created that video because it was just fun doing that process. So sometimes there's things like that people won't understand, but if it's your particular passion, then you'll understand it and you'll want to do it and focus on it. So however that fits into your circumstances, I hope that was helpful. But that's the message I have. And I guess that could apply for the previous reading as well. So maybe there was a little bit of energy left on that other reading that this card wanted to tap into as I was holding the deck. So
Okay. I just want to say thanks to Pentoufle. She says, Will, love your videos. Always want to comment to tell you, but they're turned off. Now you know.
yeah.
Thank you, Pentoufle. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I'm gonna, let's see. I'm gonna do a reading for Sky Tarots. And I know Sky Tarots up at the top, I think you had a question, but I can't find it. I think it was something regarding your YouTube channel or YouTube Live, something like that. Okay, but I think you said you can always pull a card for me on any subject. I think, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna pull a card for you. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you wanted to ask a question regarding your YouTube channel. I'm just going to shuffle the deck, so I'll wait like a few seconds here for you to, if you have a specific question. Otherwise, I'll just kind of draw a general card. And I noticed you said somewhere that you're having trouble getting people to come to your lives that you were doing on YouTube. I just want to say, like, it's really hard because I don't know if you noticed, but there's 37 people here right now watching us, which is fantastic. But I have almost 60,000 subscribers. And I promoted this live on my Facebook, my YouTube channel, my newsletter. And there's still only, well, now there's 39 people, 38.
All right. I think we need to talk about that more.
If you have a channel where you have like 100 subscribers or even 1,000 subscribers, like, yeah, it's going to be hard to get a ton of people for one of your lives, for sure. So I just wanted to say that. Okay. Okay, so Sky Tarot, I don't see any new comments unless there's like a little bit of a delay. So I'm just going to draw a random card for Sky Tarots. And Sky Tarots, I know you've come to our lives before quite a few times. I recognize your name, so thank you. Okay. So the card I got for you is Strength. Okay, perfect. And this is such a beautiful strength card. So, yeah, normally strength is a maiden on a lion, but here she's on this, I don't know what you would call this. It's a bull, but I feel like it's some kind of like Nordic bull, some ox thing. Anyway, strength is the card that I have for you. So strength is it's about fortitude. It's about being strong. It's about knowing when to be kind of bullish and stubborn and when to like forge forward despite obstacles and when to take a more kind of gentle, maybe intuitive approach to things. So strength isn't always about strength in the traditional way we kind of think of strength necessarily. The interesting thing about the strength card is that there's different ways to be strong. You can be vulnerable and strong. You could be bullish, like the animal here, and be strong. There's different ways to be strong. What I get though, as for you, I think the reason that this card, oh, someone says buffalo. Thank you. That's what I was trying to, that's the word I was looking for. Okay. So yeah, so I think a big part of this card is it's kind of saying hang in there, be strong, especially when it comes to what you're trying to do with your YouTube channel. Strength is about kind of hanging in there and keep going even when things are challenging, even when things are difficult. There's a certain vulnerability to strength too. There's a certain, that we see the maiden that's riding this beast is she's completely naked. So that to me, that's a symbol of like vulnerability. There's a certain kind of bravery as well with this card, but there's also a sense of gentleness. So notice how the maiden has tamed this bull, this buffalo. The maiden has tamed this creature through gentleness. She's gained its trust. And whenever you have, this is kind of a metaphor for whenever you have a big challenge in your life that is like that beast, like that wild lion or wild boar or, buffalo, sometimes the best way to tame that thing is through gentleness, not through trying to force something or trying to force your will, but by working with it and seeing how you can approach this in kind of a gentle way. I don't know what that would look like for you in regards to like the YouTube channel thing and getting more viewers and things like that. It may even just mean being gentle with yourself and not putting so much pressure on yourself. That could be part of it. But yeah, that's what I get with the strength card for you. So thank you so much, Sky Tarots, for letting me read for you.
Cool. I have to check out the channel. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to share your channel here in the comments, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Sometimes it's because when I was thinking about the buffalo there, it doesn't strike me as, I mean, they can move pretty fast, but usually when I think of a buffalo, I think of something powerful, but maybe just in a slow, methodic kind of way. And a lot of times it's not so much about getting a lot of people to, I guess, watch the channel or be a part of the channel, but also about how powerful you can impact people, just even if it's a small group, because there may be some people that you could really help with whatever messages you're sharing. And even if it's just one person, there can be a lot of power behind that. So a lot of times things that might not look like they're very, I guess, productive at the time can have a huge impact going down the line that can just like topple, anything that comes into contact with it. And so you might really help someone else to reach their potential too. So you never know. There's always these powerful effects that we can have that we may not even know within our lifetime that, that it rippled down and caused someone to do something, it might have inspired someone. But I want to check out the channel. It'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know how to pronounce the name. It's I think it's Cassin. It's K-E-K-E-S-A.
What's the timestamp?
12:34.
Okay. I wonder if these people are still here though.
That's a good point,
That's what I'm worried about, is that someone comes and they pop in, they say a question, but then, they wait 2 minutes and then leave.
Yeah, 12:34.
And we might be giving,
right.
If you want to say the name and ask them to comment if they're still here.
Problem is I can't pronounce the name. That doesn't help.
Okay, what was you said 12:34 was the timestamp?
Yeah, 12:34. Cassin.
Okay, let's see. Oh, Cassin? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Cassin, if you're here, let us know below. Okay. I'm just gonna show the question. Okay, so Cassin, if you're still here, let us know. That would be great, and then we'll do the reading. If we don't hear from Cassin, I think we should pick someone else, though. Oh,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, Cassin is here. Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay.
All right. Let's see. All right, so here we go. So the question was, can I have a card pull? Need to know about my fiance's career direction.
Finances.
So this one, yeah, finances, career direction. Okay. So this one, I don't know if this one's going to be a little bit limited just because it's someone else's career finances. So I won't be able to really get into, unless they specifically ask me. I kind of feel like I don't want to say anything about like their career or their finances, but I will talk about like how that would impact you or affect you, how things that decisions that are made,
Oh wait, it's not about her fiance. Is that what you thought it said? It's just about her finances.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, all right. That helps a lot. All right, so our finances and career decision. All right, here we go.
Yeah. They don't have a fiance.
Kind of hard. Yeah, kind of hard.
There's no fiance in the picture. That would have been a whole nother reading.
Let me reshuffle the cards. I don't want to have like confusion. All right, let's see. All right. I don't know why. I got the same card I got before. 10 of Wands. So I think when it comes to career and finances, I think that, initially it can be a struggle to kind of, balance career, balance finances, but I think it's worth it in the end. And I think kind of like with the card that Kate just had, just kind of being persistent and kind of being that um, that force that continues to push through would be well worth it as far as career, because again, it may not look like something's going to work out, or something may seem like it's not the best thing right now, but to kind of stick with it, stay with the stay on the path towards your goals. And I think that this card is just telling me that it might be tough, it's not going to be easy. This card is a card about having a lot of burdens and things in your life, and maybe things to kind of decide whether they're going to help or be a hindrance, and kind of streamline and plan and all of this to make things more efficient. But at the same time, even though those things take time to do, it takes time to kind of get things in order, it's worth it in the long run. It's one of those things where you look back at all the struggles and all the challenges, and you finally, when you finally are to a point where things are working out, and you're like, wow, I'm so glad that I put forth that effort, because it really set me up to be in a much better place now. And those are the types of successes that really do strengthen us, because when you think about it, there are a lot of people in life that just have like things kind of handed to them, or kind of they have the huge support system. But if you're struggling for stuff, and then you finally get to the point where you're like, wow, you know what? I put in all this effort and it's paid off. There's a certain level of appreciation that you have. And also it builds a certain perspective that values that, and that has a lot of respect for that. And it really builds a certain character in a person, versus someone that maybe just had things kind of given to them easy. Not that those types of people are gonna be like that necessarily, but there is a certain quality to people that do push through things that might seem overwhelming. And so if you feel like that with your finances and with your career, hang in there, because I feel like this card's saying that it's worth it. The struggles are worth it. Yeah.
What card did you get? Sorry, I was distracted in reading the comments, and I was like,
so I got the 10 of Wands.
Oh, 10 of Wands. Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always think like 10 of Wands too is like it's kind of like a less is more card too. And I think, yeah, that's what I think of when I get like 10 of Wands. It's like less is more. You're trying to do too much, or you've spread yourself too thin, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that as well. I think there can be room to kind of eliminate some things as well. So it might be a little bit of an issue of balance there, but still, I still feel like there's a lot on this person's plate, and I don't know that it's going to necessarily. It might take some time to kind of detach from all of these responsibilities. Some of those responsibilities we just can't change. It's like, you may have just a lot of stuff that just are just things that you have to take care of. And for sometimes when someone comes along and they say, "Oh, well, just drop them," it's like,
delegate. It's like,
like which thing do I cut, right?
Yeah.
So if you can't, and you still feel like you have a lot on your plate, it'll be worth it, I think, in the long run. Hang in there.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to draw a card for Purple Dolliya Psychic. You said thank you in advance. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Can I have a card pulled? All right. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle for you. Purple Dolliya Psychic. I love dahlias. They're one of my favorite flowers. I don't have any purple ones though. Okay, I have orange dahlias, yellow dahlias, black dahlias. I don't have purple ones. Okay, Temperance is the card that you got. Right. This is a particularly beautiful Temperance card, I think. I really love this one. Lots of streams, lots of water, lots of flow happening in this card, and we have the white deer in the background. So Temperance is a card of it is a card of balance. It's a card of moderation, which sounds boring, right? It's like balance, moderation, but it's about walking the middle path. It's about not doing anything too extreme. But what it's really about is kind of having one foot in the water and 1 foot on dry land. Now, in the Rider-Waite, I keep referring to the Rider-Waite. I'm like, in the Rider-Waite deck, the Angel of Temperance has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on solid ground. And here we have the elk or the deer in the background, not in the water. So this is some different imagery, which I'll talk about in a sec. But what that means, the symbol of 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on dry land, is that in order to dip into the watery, mystical realms of emotion, of intuition, spirituality, it helps to have 1 foot firmly planted on the ground, on dry land. That kind of stabilizes you. Just like at the beginning, I drew a card for someone and they got the World. And I said that the more grounded you are physically in the here and now, the more you can kind of expand spiritually. And this is kind of the same concept, is like when you're going to dip your toe into certain things, it helps to have 1 foot on the ground. Like, don't dive in both feet first. So that's one thing I get with temperance. It's also encouraging you to not do anything in the extreme. You know, there's a lot of power in staying balanced, walking that middle path. Now, I said I'd talk a little bit about the specific imagery and symbols on this card. And the thing that stands out to me, number one, is the roots of the tree that we see here going into the water. Again, that symbol of like grounding and all that. But it's the waterfalls that are standing out to me. And the sense of flow and flowing, and this idea that it looks like we're kind of on a slope, like we're on some kind of hill, and the water is going downstream. And this idea that water is kind of flowing down. And okay, I have an idea in my head. I'm just going to try to put it into words in a way that makes sense. So in order for things to flow, there needs to be movement. And here there's a bit of an angle, so things are flowing down. And so in order to get things going this year, in order for you to have a lot of creative flow, emotional flow, in order to feel like things are moving along, you're nourished, you're inspired, etc., sometimes there's like just one little thing that you could do that is like tilting things so that things can flow better. Now, that might be like having a really good morning routine, or implementing a certain habit, or just changing one little thing that just kind of tilts things a little bit so that everything else starts to fall into place and starts to work better. And I think that the key to that is walking that middle path, avoiding doing anything in the extreme. So taking a look at your life and asking yourself, am I doing this right now? Or is there any part of my life that is a little too extreme, that really isn't balanced? And seeing if you can start to make little key changes in those areas that feel unbalanced, so that you can get back into balance, so that things can start to flow for you. So I don't know if that all sounded like a lot of mumbo jumbo, or if that resonated, but that's what I'm getting with temperance.
No, I thought your words really matched the card. You know, getting back
Okay.
to balance and then flowing with the waterfall kind of came together. I like that. It's kind of
good.
Okay. All right. So Tarot yourself says, can you tell me how I can stop procrastinating?
Okay.
So 105.
All right. Oh, I like this question. I also have this question.
Okay, let's see. You're not going to believe this. I'm telling you, I am shuffling.
I saw you shuffle. I heard and saw you shuffle.
I mean, but I have to pull the card that's coming. I'm not going to just drop it. So it's like, okay. This card is just stalking this whole episode for me. All right, so procrastination. I think there are cases. This kind of takes the opposite effect. This kind of has the opposite effect of what I was saying before, with having a lot of responsibilities and things. I think also we could also be in a situation where we just feel like we don't want anything to be on our radar at all. Like we don't want to. We feel like we could end up in the position where all these things accumulate, and these things can become a burden. Like, for example, let's say you want to do something and you feel like, okay, I would enjoy doing this, but if I take this on, then it might start feeling like work. It might start feeling less enjoyable. And I think it depends on how we approach it. Like, if you have something that you enjoy doing and you make it a business, then suddenly it can become something totally different than what you intended to be. But I think that if you just kind of enjoy the process of whatever it is that you're trying to do and have that perspective going in, that might help with the procrastination, because a lot of time procrastination is just this fear of failure. But if it's not something that you intend to fail at all, it might make it a little bit less of a burden to take on, because it's just like, I just enjoy doing it. Because yeah, sometimes when we don't do something, we're thinking, okay, I don't want to do this because I don't want to feel the results or the impact of what it is I'm going to do. And so I won't have to see that if I don't step my foot into the arena of whatever this is at all. And so nothing just gets done. Nothing gets put on the plate. And I understand that. Because you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to feel bad about yourself if something doesn't go the way you want it to go. And sometimes just avoiding the situation altogether just kind of gives you a peace of mind, in a sense. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes it's good to just have that peace of mind. But if it makes you feel like you're, missing opportunities and it's just not making you productive, then it can become a problem. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. But if it's to the point where you're struggling because you're not doing anything, then it becomes an issue, because you have to be able to provide for yourself. You have to be able to take care of the things around you. And if they're falling apart and things are falling apart because you're not doing anything and you're stuck, that's where the issue comes into play. So there's this balance between finding the things that are not so threatening to do and kind of maybe taking them on with a different perspective of, okay, I just want to do this because I like doing it. But then again, we can't always do what we want to do. Sometimes there's just things that we have to do that are not exciting. They're just boring, or they're just like dull. And we have to think about, okay, well, can I push through this? This is something that I can handle. Because if you can't, then I would just advise you to just, continue to wait. Because sometimes forcing yourself to be in that situation, if you don't have to be in that situation, it may not be the best thing for you. It could just be like stressful. It could lead to just burnout, or just, I don't know, just feeling kind of disgruntled. And so it's a tough question. I kind of would have to ask myself this question sometimes as well. And so, yeah, it could be that could be a difficult one.
I think one thing I kind of got when I saw the 10 of Wands there, and I think you already kind of spoke to this, is that whenever there's something that I want to do or I need to do or whatever, and I keep procrastinating, it's because it's just one more thing that I have to do on my to-do list. Even if it's something like, even if I'm like, oh, I really want to start doing more creative writing, like it's something fun, and I'm like, I want to start more creative writing. And then I notice myself procrastinating, and it becomes like, oh, it's just another thing I have to do. It's another thing on my to-do list. Yeah, that's what kind of, so it's like, how can you make whatever it is that you're procrastinating on, like, how can you make that thing not feel like a burden? Like, how can it feel fun? And like, how can you associate that thing with like freedom and enjoyment or pleasure in some way?
Yeah, I know, like I know, but it's like in my case, a lot of things get put on the back burner because the things that I have to do, the actual responsibilities, like things at work or things I need to do at home or whatever, they take priority. And then sometimes I'm just exhausted. Sometimes I'm just
Yeah.
tired. I'm like, I just want to
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
the priority of sleep and to just not have to do these other things, even if they are enjoyable. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and then the next thing you know, a couple of weeks have gone by and you're like, I haven't gotten to the things that I wanted to do that I enjoy. And I don't know if this might be a case as well, or it just depends on what the procrastination is about. Is it about the things that are responsibilities, or is it about the things that you want to do that you enjoy? Because there are things that I want to do that I enjoy that I procrastinate about as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you'd have to ask yourself, which category do these things fit in?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. Because I enjoy making videos on my YouTube channel, but I, but when I come home from work, it's like I could make that video, but then I just don't have the energy, and it would be
Yeah.
like it wouldn't be what I want it to be. I think it
Mm-hmm.
will reflect in the video, you know. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Yeah.
I'll wait to the weekend, and then something comes up on the weekend, and it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
are I don't think you should feel really bad about procrastinating in all cases because there could be underlying things that are just like maybe you are doing a lot, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm going to choose. Wait, did I choose the last one or did you? You did.
I think I did tarot yourself, right?
Yeah, you chose it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, all right. I'm gonna do one for. Well, actually, I should check in with you, Will, because it's almost 1:30. Is there a time that you have to go?
No, but time flew. Wow.
Yeah, time flew. I know. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do a card. Did I say I was gonna do a card for someone? Did I say a name? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Okay. I'm gonna do a card for Pentoufle. All right. Card, please. Is there a particular non-medical thing or task that I could do to improve painful nerve issue? Something I'm missing. I have plenty of doctors and treatment. I meditate, pray, etc. Okay, first of all, Pentuvo, I'm so sorry that you have nerve pain. That can be any kind of chronic pain can be exhausting. Of course. So I'm sorry that you're going through that, and I want to see what comes up for you. What the cards have to say about this. Okay, and you're specifically asking a non-medical thing, and it sounds like you're doing spiritual stuff. You're meditating. You have a spiritual life. But let's just see what card comes up for you. And I don't know if this is going to be a clear answer at all, but hopefully it will be interesting. Okay, so 10 of Cups. Again, so this is the second time this card has come up. So I'm going to let you have a look here. 10 of Cups. Now, 10 of Cups is a very happy card, and I call this card, I often will refer to this card as the dreams coming true card. And it's about having dreams, kind of believing in your dreams, allowing yourself to dream. And it's also a card of emotional fulfillment and connection with others. Now, the first thing actually that pops into my head is because you said, you have a spiritual life, etc. You have medical care. Those things you kind of sounds like you figured that part out anyhow. You have that there in your life. But what about social? What is your social life like? What is your family like? Do you have a sense of community and connection with other people in ways that feel nurturing? I feel like that might be the missing piece for you. Now, just because you have lots of friends or you have a sense of connection to your community doesn't mean you're suddenly not going to have pain, but it might make the experience more bearable. There's something about and I say this as someone who I've been struggling my entire life to find a sense of connection and community with others. And I feel like the current times that we live in and the way that our society is structured makes it really difficult, makes it really, really challenging to find this, to find a real sense of community and to make friends and have those connections, whether it's with friends, family, or whatever. It's a really challenging thing, but there is something about having this feeling of support, and it's support in the emotional sense. Feeling like you have emotional support, social support, feeling like you have those connections that really makes a difference in how we feel physically. Like there is a clear, I think this has been proven by various studies, like there's a clear link between physical health and feeling like you have a community and you're supported and you have those social connections. So that's ultimately what I'm getting from the 10 of Cups for you, is that might be the missing piece. I'm just going to see if you've commented. I'm curious if this resonates with you at all. Because that's really kind of what I'm, let's say you said, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting from this card. And I mean, the 10 of Cups shows a family. And I'll show it to you again. So it shows a family. They're enjoying each other's company. Things are very peaceful. There's a bunch of cups perched on the trees and the branches. I think also I associate 10 of Cups with healing as well. And this might be healing things in your family tree. And I don't know if the nerve issue that you have is something that is hereditary, if it's something that other people in your family have had that have been passed on, or if it's, maybe not related to that at all. But the tree actually makes me, and the family in front of it makes me think of like your family tree and the potential for healing. And it's interesting. I'm doing this meditation program right now. It's called Ancestral Healing, and it's all about healing sort of wounds in your ancestral line. So things that you might have like inherited, from your parents or your grandparents or great grandparents, things that have gone down through the generations, and the different ways that those things can show up. It can show up as physical things, emotional things, relationship issues. So I feel like this card is also kind of inviting you to maybe working on healing various, could be ancestral wounds, could be family relationship issues, things like that. I feel like there's also kind of there may be some good to be had around kind of focusing on those things. And you said, you said nailed it. I need more connection in person. Yeah, exactly. Not Zoom. Just went to, I think it's South Carolina, SC. And my best friend's mom was so nurturing to me. My mom is too, but she needs help as well. I'm moving near to my brother and friend. Okay. You don't like your I don't like my family here. I like the ones in South Carolina and NC. What would NC be? I don't know. Do you know, Will? You live in the States. You should know this. NC.
Did you say NC or?
NC, is that a
North,
state?
North Carolina and
North Carolina. So, okay, right. Okay. South Carolina, of course. All right. Yeah. And I think it sounds good. You're moving to be nearer to your brother and your friend. And yeah, I think whenever you move, you have this opportunity to like meet new people and find a sense of community. So that sounds really promising for you. So I just want to say good luck and thank you so much for letting me read for you. I hope that was helpful.
Cool. There was one comment about cups and maybe hydration and water therapy.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Maybe we could do one more each.
That sounds really good. Yeah.
All right. So Alicia Williams said, can you give me a relationship reading?
All right.
This was at 126.
Okay.
All right. If we get the 10 of Wands again, I don't know, man. Let's see. You okay? hanging in there?
I'm okay. I was just blowing my nose.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So for a relationship reading, this one's odd. So I got the 5 of Swords.
That's a weird one.
It is a weird one. So I don't know, would this be about a current relationship or just like, potential? Maybe I could get some clarity on that. So Alicia, if you're there. Yeah, it looks like she's there.
She's typing.
I guess
She's furiously typing.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I guess my question is this about a current relationship or
Oh, right. Is
potential?
she wanting a new? Yeah, right. Like, is she single and looking for a relationship, or is she in a relationship?
Just separated yesterday. Okay, well, this card makes a lot more sense then.
It sure does.
So,
In that, yeah.
yeah, in this sense, now it makes a lot more sense. So I think that maybe that part, like when I look at this card, this doesn't seem like this would be someone that would be necessarily healthy to be around. It seems like someone that might be a little bit maybe self-centered, focused on themselves, and so maybe the person that you separated from needs that time to deal with that, to deal with themselves and kind of understand, their behavior before they're in a relationship. So I don't know necessarily that this person's ready right now. So that separation was probably the thing that needed to happen. And now that you're separated, this is the time to maybe both of you just on your own evaluate the situation and let them deal with those issues, and then maybe on in the future kind of revisit what this relationship was about. Was it just something to get or will they get back? I think that's going to depend on right now the other person, because I feel like this really does represent what you were dealing with. And I think that getting back with that person right now, this doesn't seem to me, just from my perspective, and I could be wrong, I don't want to predict anything here, but just from my perspective, if this person's dealing with some sort of self-centered maybe issue where they're not really focused on others and they're maybe a little bit more focused on themselves, they need to deal with that. And you don't want to jump right back into that. So it could take time. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen, but you might see this. This is someone that I feel like you might see in the future after some growth. I think there's some growth here that needs to take place with the other person. So as much as you might be compatible at some point, right now there's a blockage because of that person's, I think, need to learn some things in life, to go through some things. And so the question is still, will we get back? Will we get back, I guess, back together? I don't know. I can't predict that. I have to be honest. I can't say yes or no, you're going to get back together. I think that this is one of those cases where if you're separated and you see this person again in the future and they've grown, you can make that decision and determine that decision. Because I think that if I tell you, yes or no, you're going to get back together, then I'm kind of inserting myself into the answer of that question. I can't do that. So I would have to tell you the separation I feel because of the card that I got. And if this does represent them, to me, it feels like the right thing that needed to happen. Getting back, that's going to be something that depends on not just you, but also the other person growing. They have to do what they have to do. And if they don't, then I don't recommend it. I wouldn't get back with them. If you meet them again in the future and they're the same, then no, because you're going to get the same result probably. So.
Okay, well said, Will. And I think 5 of Swords is such a tricky card. That's along with Justice, that's a card that I really struggle to read. And especially in, relationship readings are always tricky, I think. I always find them kind of challenging. And so I like what you said about that card.
Yeah, that's a challenging one because yeah, it really does involve two people. And so it's like, well, I mean, it's possible you can get back. I mean, if you've learned and you feel ready, but there's always the other person, it's like,
Right.
you can't control them. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna pull a card. I'll do one last reading. Before I do the one last reading though, is there anything, Will, that you want to tell the people? Is there anything you want to share? Do you have anything coming up that you want to promote or anything like that? What's your next video going to be on your channel?
So I'm gonna do, probably the next one will be the death card, but I also am gonna do something new. So this month, I've spent some time reading about. I'm picking one occultist per month, and so
Okay.
this month was Jack Parsons.
Okay.
And so I'll be doing a video about his life. And not just, these videos aren't designed to be just facts about the person. They're more my interpretations of his behavior based on life experiences. So I'm
Who's
reading
Jack
about
Parsons?
Jack Parsons was one of the founders of JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory. But
Okay.
he was also a very, he was an occultist, but he also had a very good balance of, okay, well, this is my life outside of the occult, which was his career making rockets. And because he was a part of this company, which was the precursor to NASA, he was sort of on the sideline, but they liked his mind, and they liked his inventions and the way he did things. But his occult side, they were putting up with that. And he kind of, because he did so much to put, us on the moon and to build rockets and all this stuff, but he does not get that credit because of his association with these unusual things. And
Do you listen to Last Podcast on the Left?
No, I haven't heard that.
Because they did a whole, like, now that you're talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I listened to a whole podcast series about this guy.
Yeah.
They did a whole thing about him. Yeah, it was really, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, really interesting. I mean,
really quirky.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of things that are just bizarre about his life, but I want to dive into those things. And so that's the first person I picked, because I find that him, even more so than like Aleister Crowley and all of that, like his approach to just spirituality in general is more in line with how I think a little bit.
Okay.
And so I find that his views on like politics and just in general, his outlook on like people and life, I think that he was just a much more balanced type of person than Crowley. Even though he was associated with Aleister Crowley, I feel like Jack Parsons was kind of like, he was more rational. He was just more grounded and more reasonable in his decisions when it came to what was just and what wasn't just, and how to express his ideas and thoughts in a way that I think were more understanding. I could understand him more. But he doesn't get enough credit. People don't talk about him enough, I think, and so that's why I wanted to pick him first.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's your next video. Nice.
That's not the next video. The death card's probably going to be the next video.
Oh, death card. Okay,
I read 2 books about Jack Parsons, and I read another book that was one of Jack Parsons' favorite books, which I'll talk about in the video as well. But I want to build up a little bit more background, because again, this isn't going to just be about like facts about him, like, oh, who was he? What did he do? No, this is more of a little bit more of an analysis of maybe, why certain things happened in his life, because he was kind of like to me, he was sort of like a Page of Cups, like a very curious type person, but also very naive. Like, he brought a lot of people into his life that harmed his entire process. Like L. Ron Hubbard, for example, the founder of Scientology, was very much linked into the occult, linked with the occult practices of Jack Parsons. And why? He was an obvious con man. L. Ron Hubbard was like one of the worst. And so, you wonder, like, why was he not seeing these types of things? But he just had this openness to him that I felt like was just a very interesting type of energy that I think said something about his character in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that video. Do you do like a yearly forecast reading on your channel? Do you
I
do
haven't
readings
done.
on your? You don't do readings, do you, on your channel?
I used
Right.
to.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
used
that's what I was
to.
thinking.
And I stopped, but maybe I will at some point.
Yeah. That's what I'm working on next. Is I'm going to do my 2025 tarot forecast reading, and I'm just struggling to figure out if I want to do it the way that I've done it the previous years, where I have the camera on the table, or if I want to do it like this and pull cards and then show them on the screen. I'm not sure. I know it's a stupid thing to be like
No, I
to
think
be
either
like
way.
about. Like, I
No,
don't
I think
know. I
either
don't
way.
know what to
Um,
do.
I don't know. I always like videos where I see the person, but
Yeah,
then
that's
again,
what kind of what I'm leaning.
it's a lot easier to make the ones where you don't, and I think people don't really mind either way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, I'm getting my
mhm.
hair done tomorrow, so I'll have a new haircut. So I kind of want to show it off. So I think I'm going to show my face in the video.
Are you getting a lot chopped off, or just a little bit? Or?
No. Just like a trim, but I'm going to dye it
Oh,
more
oh,
blonde or
you're gonna dye
something.
it.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember it being different at some point, different color at some point. I can't remember.
Changes every 5 seconds. Always changing my hair.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, so for those of you watching, check out Will's channel. His channel is called Atypical Tarot. I don't know, Will, if you're able to post a link in the comments. Are you able to post a
It's
comment?
telling me to join the chat, but when I click
Oh,
on that, sometimes it makes me go sign in, and it just did a weird thing last time.
okay.
So I
Oh,
will.
you know what? I'm gonna put I'll put a link to Will's. In fact, I think there already is a link to Will's channel. I can't remember how I set it up, but I'm pretty sure I added Will's channel in the description box below this video. I'll also post it. You know what? Why don't I post it in the chat here? Let me just let me just figure this out. I'll put a link to your channel in the chat so people can just go directly there and subscribe to your channel. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. It helps me out so much. So if you enjoyed this live, and I'm still going to draw one more card. So let me just post Will's channel once I find it. Atypical. Let me just find it and post it. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, so here it is. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so one more card. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm excited for the new year. I've got a fun tarot workshop coming up. I'm going to do it on, I think, January 5th on a Sunday. And it's a plan your year ahead, plan your 2025 workshop. And it's just kind of a intention setting, kind of planning workshop for just kind of getting clear on what's important to you in the upcoming year, what kinds of things you want to focus on. You'll get like a really fun workbook and some tarot spreads and stuff. It's you can't sign up yet. I'm not that organized. I wish I was, but I'm gonna open registration in the next like week or so. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a card for. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm going to draw one for career blue band days. Did we do this one already? I don't think so.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. So blue band days, I'm going to draw a card for you. And you want some career advice for 2025. I feel like we've had a few career questions so far. Okay, career advice for 2025. Ooh, 10 of Wands. Okay, I feel like this same card, when you did a reading for someone, Will, came up for a career finance question.
mean, it came up like 3 times for me.
Yeah, 3 times. So this is the first time I'm getting it.
I think in general for 2025, people are going to be burdened. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, we've got a lot of 10s though, because I got the 10 of Cups twice. You got the 10 of Wands 3 times, and now we haven't drawn that many cards in this time. Like, it's not like we've, we got a lot of 10s.
I got the 10 of Cups too.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Yeah, you did. Okay, so lots of 10s. That's interesting. Okay, 10 of Wands.
Was it the 10 of Pentacles? I got the 10 of Pentacles.
You did get 10. Yeah, that's right. I remember that now. Yeah. Okay, so 10 of Wands is career advice for 2025. Okay, you may be tempted, blue band days, to take on lots of stuff in 2025. And some of it might be out of guilt, or some of it might be just that you have a helpful nature and you want to help people and you want to take things on. Some of it might be like you have a lot of exciting projects and opportunities being offered to you and you want to take advantage of that. There is real danger that you could take on too much and spread yourself so thin that you're so burnt out that you don't really enjoy any of it. And it could just be a hard slog. So this is something to keep in mind as you're going into 2025, is pick and choose your projects and the things that you commit to carefully, and resist the urge to spread yourself really thin. You might think, I can take it all on, but can you take on lots of stuff and sustain it and continue to feel energized and happy and productive? You have to be realistic, and the phrase less is more comes up with this card. Less is more. Now, the other thing I get with the 10 of Wands is that you actually have a lot of strength and you have a lot of gas in the tank. And so even if you take on a ton of stuff this year, you actually will be able to be successful with a lot of it, but you just might feel really dragged out and burnt out. Like, it might not be a fun experience. So just because you can doesn't mean you should. So you might think, oh, I can do this, 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 and this, and all this stuff. That doesn't mean, just because you're capable of doing a million things at the same time, doesn't mean that you should. So that's that's something to say to yourself. I think that career-wise, yeah, so that's my career advice for you. I feel like there's something else here I want to say. It feels like 2025 is a year where you will have a lot of opportunities. There'll be a lot of hard work, of course. Sometimes it might feel like you're walking uphill with a bunch of sticks on your back, but ultimately you're moving upward. So this is a year of progress. Some of that progress might feel fun and easy. Some might be really hard work. But ultimately, career-wise, it is a year of progress for you. So good luck. And thank you for letting me read for you. So that is the last reading. So I just want to say thanks, everyone, for being here live with us. Thank you, Will, for reading with me.
Yeah, it's always fun. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah, and I just want to wish everyone, a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hope you're enjoying the holiday season and taking some time for yourself. And you said, haha, strength training. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So good luck, everyone, in 2025, and I will see you in the new year. And thank you again, Will.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.